Good afternoon. It's July the 6th, 2016. Time to wrap up today's trading. We came in today on the E-mini wanting to be short first. The trade was 74 to 80 to 79. This area right here. It did produce a couple of shorts that worked for a little bit of money. We weren't able to break the 65, 67 area, which is where we wanted to get long. And the market has been straight up, and it's still pointed up today. And again, the market just swings on this 50 lot trader, and they're maintaining the length, and they're adding to their length into the close. We came in this morning with bad news out of Europe. The yuan was revalued. We've had bad news out of Europe all day today. We had a piece of news this morning, ISM services, that was way out of line with expectations, as was ISM manufacturing. When you get in and you read the report, a lot of the stuff doesn't add up, but on a headline basis they were looking for 53 and it came in at 56 plus. So we have trouble with the news. We have trouble with those that are reporting the news. You really can't believe it, but trade what you see, not what you believe, and we know that the 50 lot trader runs the market. And right now it looks like the 50 lot trader is going to close us on a high. Looking at the F1 screen, trying to look at the F1 screen. Lower low, lower high, although we're going to finish strong. We'll definitely have a P today. It says find a place to sell it. When you have a situation like this, you're looking to sell failure. You're not looking to put out resting limit orders to sell. Looking at the day session, we can see we had the start of this selling started basically at 2100. We have the German Frankfurt high right here at 92.50. We've got a high volume number, so starting out, if we fail to take out 93.95, we can be sellers. And then it'll be 99 to 01 for sell 2. On the buy side, 85.87 buy 1. Then 80.82 buy 2. So 80 to 85 is pretty good support. 95 to 2100 is pretty good resistance. Tomorrow, ADP 150. Jobless claims 269. Natural gas inventories and crude inventories, don't know what those will be. So the focus will be ADP, followed by Friday's non-farm payroll numbers. Looking at the 10-year and the 30-year, they just got slammed. Next week will be an auction week, and markets tend to sell off on the Friday, sometimes Thursdays before the auctions next week to set those up. Lower prices, higher interest rate makes it easier to move the paper. Higher low, higher high, we can buy failure to break support on the F1 screen. F2 screen is going to show a pretty pronounced B, and you can see it right there. So right now 18.5 was the low, 16 to 20 support, 16 to 21 buy 1, 9 to 13 buy 2. On the sell side, last rotate up was 25. We're at 23 right now, so we'll try for 27s to 31, sell 1. Like the short side first. If we can't take out 18.5, can trade from the long side. Sell 2, 3 to 7. ZB had a huge day. This thing is capable of 2-point runs, sometimes 3, but you expect it to trade 1 to 2 points during the day. And just a real big market. We had a 5 to 9 buy way up here in the 176, and that was our number 2 buy. So we had the last rotate down stopped at 26. We had a K period low with a low of the day of 17. We're at 02 right now, so 24, 28 will be that first little support level. 17 to 21 buy 1, that's where support is. 5 to 9 buy 2. Back it away a bit. 4 to 8. Resistance 1. So 11 to 15 sell 1. 23, 27 sell 2. Big market has big swings. Gold was kind of on hold today. We expected that. We did get a $10 range. Strong market moving up, closed higher than yesterday, but it did sell during the day a couple times. Higher, low, higher, high. And that would be the correct splits right there for that contract. 75 is resistance. Won't have the strongest profile. But you can see we've rejected prices below 65. So 65, 63 buy 1. And we did get to our 61.59 buy that we had this morning. Buy 2. On the sell side, we're having trouble at 70. So 70 to 72 sell 1. 75 to 77 sell 2. Like the long side better. Just don't see any reason really to be short. And you can tell we're looking at a pretty strong P. Crude oil all over the map. Tomorrow's EIA inventory numbers. Probably the biggest supporting factor in crude oil has been that we are losing North American production, mostly in the United States, out of shale oil production. We had 9.6 million per day peak last fall. I think we're at 8.7 right now. So we've taken about 1 million barrels a day offline. And there are various production levels for wells that are drilled already in place, and they have a lot of those that are in inventory. If they don't count the drilling costs, which you really have to count, you're talking about $35-40 to get it out of the ground. If you talk about drilling costs on top of it, we're still looking at about $50 for the best formations to produce, and it can be as high as 70. But what they've done in the oil patch is they've zeroed in on their high production. They got these little cores, these little sweet spots in the structure that they go drill now, and they know that if oil prices get high enough, they can step it out and get lower production from it. But it's it does cost more. Saudi Arabia and the Middle East have the lowest lifting costs in the world. Okay, crude oil. We talked about going back and retesting the start of the distribution. They got stops above that. We stopped at this 2-letter ledge. Early this morning we did not quite make. We missed by, I think, a penny, 1 tick, hitting the high volume number from yesterday. And this market will honor structure. These are numbers that are most recent in the market's memory. and each place along the way it halted the market briefly, and then we finally we break the market out. 1, 2, 3 impulses up, and on that third impulse it finally finds a seller. Right now we can sell failure to take out and hold 47.50. We can also buy against 47, that 47 area, give or take, based on this profile. So 47.50, 47.75, sell 1. 48, 48 and a quarter, sell 2. We do have the EIA inventory report. Probably saw some short covering today in front of that number. On the buy side, 46.75, 47 buy 1. And then buy 2 will be 46 and a quarter, 46.50. And the euro, lots of bad news today economically out of Europe. It looks like the Italian banks they have been recapitalized. Nobody's talking about it, but if the Italian banks we've always had to recapitalize Spanish banks, Italian banks, Irish banks, and Portuguese banks from day one, and they haven't wanted to do it. And why? Because the cost of that was north of $1 trillion. It was 1.2 trillion euros, which is why they haven't wanted to do that. Okay, looking at the euro, lower high, lower low on F1, find a place to sell it. And on F2, we've got a P in a down market. So 1150 on the sell side, first sell zone. 1075 is your buy zone. That's where we traded today. So sell 1, 1150. Get through that. The spill that took the market lower started in D. That was at that high right there at 65. So then 75 would be sell 2. On the buy side, basically 111 even. Then 1075. Imagine we're going to find sellers in London when we get up there, but I don't know if it'll be at 50 to 75 areas where I expect to find them. And that's it for July the 6th, 2016. I will see y'all bright and early in the morning.